you'll have to let me know if this is better or worse. Okay, so today we are going to be talking about Google Sites. If you've not used Google Sites, it really is an intuitive, kind of easy to use tool. I really enjoy it. I've created a lot of things with it. So if you have not signed in, please go ahead and sign in. And then I will click over to our next tab. There we go. Okay, so hello and thank you for joining us. I am Loshaka Wesley Hosier. I'm the one-to-one at South Garland, and the best partner ever is Gina. Gina, do you want to say hey?
Yeah, I'm here. It takes me a minute to get my mic off. Hey guys, thanks for joining us. I know you're super busy getting your classrooms packed up, getting in and out of the building. So thanks for joining us. Some of the stuff today we're going to talk about, you might already know. If not, I hope that we do have something that maybe you didn't know. Google Sites is probably one of my top tools that I use. And so I hope that you find some way to use it today too. And remember, if you have any questions at all, we hang around after the webinar. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And it doesn't just have to be about Google Sites. We're here to help.
Great reminder, Gina. Okay, so here's what we are going to be talking about. Oh, if you've never been to one of our webinars, we do have a webinar back channel. Gina and I do check that every day to see if there's any new questions that have been asked. So just add your question, make sure you add your email address, and then you'll get an automated response from us with the answer to your question and a copy of what your question is. Okay, so here's the skills we're going to go over today. We have beginner, intermediate, and then advanced. Beginner skills is just, creating a basic site and what the menus do. Intermediate, how to publish it, the new banner option, which I was super excited about, the different layouts that you can get, and then creating a slide gallery. And then advanced, the different ways that you can utilize Google Sites for yourself or with your students. And then Google Analytics, which tells you how many people are coming to your sites. It's amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the site. Sharing. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. So when you go to the waffle over here and you click on sites, it's going to bring you to this. This is the old Google Sites kind of login page. So you want to make sure that you click New Google Sites so you can get to the new page. So once you're on the new Google Sites page, you will see that they've actually created a template gallery. This is new. I think this is added in like the past 2 weeks because I'm on Google Sites all the time and I didn't see this until last week. And I was like, holy cow, that's so awesome. They have some new templates. So you can see all of the sites that either I've created or sites that have been shared with me here. So that's why it says owned by anyone. If I just go to owned by me, that list gets considerably smaller. Okay. So this is kind of your landing page. If you've never ever created a Google Sites page, when you come to your page, you're not going to see anything here except these templates. So there should be a plus sign down in the bottom right corner that you would click on to create your site. And then they also have this new completely blank slide template if you wanted to do that. So if you look at your main menu in Google Sites, it's literally just going to take you to all of the other Google Suite tools, and then you can toggle between this new sites and the classic sites. I honestly prefer this one. I was super excited. So let's look at the template gallery that they have. So they have a portfolio template, one specifically for a class or club. They've got one for student portfolios, which is the difference between that one and the portfolios for adults is minute, but it's interesting because it does prompt the students a little bit better on where to put things. One for a restaurant. And then they've got some further down here if you're doing a specific event or help center, if you have a project, or if you've got a specific team that you want to create a website for. So those are the basic templates they have. Like I said, that's new. So I imagine they're going to continue to add to that as they move forward. So let's go into a page so we can see what's going on. We will do my Skyward Help page. Okay, so if you click on the page, so it's going to autosave just like every other Google tool. And when you click on the page, it's going to take a minute to load. Now, this Skyward Help page is one that I created for my staff that just has different categories in Skyward to kind of help people out. I've embedded a couple of different things. So this is what the site would kind of look like. Here's all of your tools and where you can go from here. So if you go over to themes, actually, I think this would be better if we started from scratch. So I'm just going to go back and start from scratch. That way you're not distracted by all the stuff I've put on one. Okay, so we're going to go to a blank Google site so you can see everything from the beginning. But Google Sites is very intuitive. The students can use them. I've seen middle schoolers create sites. So it really depends on what you put into it, how professional it's going to look, but they all come out looking very nice. Okay, so here's a blank start. So now it says, if you don't know where to begin, try a template. You can go to your template gallery, but we're just going to put basic stuff in here. So here's my theme, and I'm not really fond of the gray at the top there. So if I click on themes over on the right-hand side, I get this simple theme, and I can change either the colors. I can add my own color by clicking on the paint bucket, and I can also change the font. So if I wanted it to be a little heavier, you can see as I'm clicking things how it's changing the image on the site. Okay, I can go to this Aristotle one, which is going to look a little more clean. And then the title of your website is always going to be in white because they want it to show through on the foreground. You can change those based on whatever you put in there. Diplomat, vision, impression, and level. Now, they do have kind of cheats. So if you didn't like any of these, you could go in to Google Drawings and design a new header for your web page. So they've got different types of headers. You can do one that is the complete cover. So all of your pages will be across the top, like the tabs, and then they can click there. They've got a large banner, a smaller banner, and then the title only. You can make this as pretty or as, plain as you want it to be. And so let's say I go with this banner here, this regular size banner. Well, then it gives me the option to change image. So I can upload a new image or I can select an image. So I've got some in my Google Drive. So I'm going to go to select image, and it's going to bring up my Google Drive. So I can pick from the gallery here, and they've got a lot of pretty backgrounds. If I wanted to go through, you should recognize some of these kind of patterned ones from Google Classroom, the older headers in Google Classroom. So if I wanted to do that, I could. If I wanted to just do a keyboard for a text site, I can do that. So I'm going to put that back there. And you see how it says adjusting for readability? It's going to make sure that whatever I put up here is actually readable by everyone on the internet. So see how it kind of lightened that picture and then changed my words to black? It did that all on its own. Okay, so I'm going to leave the title, but when you have your text box, you can do normal, title, heading, subheading, or small. So I'm going to leave it as title, and I'm going to bold it just because I think it'll be easier to read. And then I'm going to put webinar example. So you have a few options. You can italicize it. I can center, left, right, whatever, or I can add a hyperlink. Now, obviously, I'm probably not going to hyperlink this title box, but all text boxes give you the same options. So later, if I'm adding a text box, I can hyperlink it if I want. I can completely clear the formatting, and then I can get rid of the entire box by clicking on the trash can. Okay, so now that I've got my theme set up for my web page, and I'm going to enter my site name up here so that it will save as my site name. So see how I typed it in this upper left-hand corner. And when I did that, now it auto-saved. So when I go back to my drive to find this, I would just type in webinar example. Okay, so I've got my theme, I've named it, I'm ready to start adding stuff. So I'm going to go to the insert menu. There's a couple of different ways that you can add things. You can add them directly from the menu. So if I know for sure I want to do a text box, I can go ahead and click on the text box and then it pops up over here. So I'm just going to put a heading of thing 1. Okay, so you would put in whatever you wanted to do. Now this, I have the same options: title, heading, subheading, small. So I'm going to change this to heading. I'm going to highlight it, change it to heading. So it actually does what I want it to do. So see how that changed the font and the size? And I'm still going to make this bold because I, again, like drawing attention to things that are titles. And I'm going to center it so that it's in the middle of the page. Now, over here, I've got a couple of options. I can duplicate this if I want a specific size or I need it on there more than once. And I can also change the color. So if I click on the little paint thing there, the paint palette, it'll bring up a couple of options. I can add an image directly behind this. So if I had maybe something I wanted to make a little more opaque or transparent as a background, like my class, for example. So if you've got a class webpage and you wanted to put your A2 class there as, you know, something they could click on, then maybe you would take a picture of the class and put it back there. I can add this color, which I kind of like, the peach or pink or salmon or whatever you want to call it. I can do this gray, or I can change the whole thing to white. Okay. So I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to get rid of that other extra text box. So then let's say I do have a picture that I want to put in, and I'm going to select a picture. Now, you can upload one from your computer. You can paste an image of a URL. You can do a Google image search. So I'm going to do one for flowers. Now I've got this beautiful array of flower pictures here. So I'm going to go with some hyacinth. At least I think that is. I don't have my glasses. So then it's going to embed this picture for me, and you can change the size of the picture. So I can make it super wide. Oh, it is hyacinth. Look at me go. Okay. Or I can, remember, hold the shift key down, and if I resize, it's going to keep the aspect the same, that aspect ratio the same, but I'm just making the picture smaller so that my hyacinth doesn't get too out of order there, either too wide or too skinny. Options, I can crop this picture. So let's say I want to take out the bulbs. I'm not fond of those, and I just want the green at the bottom. Why are you not letting me? Oh, because it's not. Okay. Don't do this, computer. Okay, well, I have it. Oh, there we go. Sorry, my mouse was not working with me. Okay, so this gray area is what's going to be cut out. So if I continue to either grow or shrink my picture, I can cut out what I want. So I didn't cut out all of the bulbs, but I cut them out. Now, if I want the picture, sometimes when you put a picture in based on the height and width that you've specified, it kind of messes with the picture and it cuts part of it out. So if I don't want that, I can hit this uncrop button and it'll automatically go back to the original image. If I want to hyperlink this image, I'm just going to click on the little insert link button. And now whatever hyperlink or whatever link I put in there, by clicking on the picture, it will take them straight there. So I'm going to put in the bit.ly to our Sign Me Up webinars. Okay, and I'll show you what that looks like when we preview the page. So you can see it has attached its little bit.ly now. I can see it down there. And if I misspelled something or I want to change it, I would just hit on the edit tool and get that there. And then the 3 dots is going to open up a couple of things. I can add a caption to the picture, or I can completely replace the image, and that's going to keep the same size ratio without me having to resize it again. So that's text box, images. Now, let's say I want to embed something. Most of the time, I just embed my Twitter feed or specific tweets. So if I go over to Twitter, okay, here's my Twitter page, and I want to embed this specific tweet about our webinar yesterday. So you can embed whatever you want. So I'm going to click on the little caret up here on Twitter, and then see how it says embed tweet, and it's kind of got the same symbol as the embed symbol on the web page. I'm going to click embed tweet, and it's going to give me a code. So down here, I'm just going to copy the code, and it shows me a picture of what I'm trying to embed. And then I'm going to go back to my web page, and I'm going to click on this embed button. So then I'm going to embed it with the embed code just by pasting the code that I just copied, and then I hit next. And it's going to give me a preview and say, are you sure this is what you want to embed on your page? I'm going to say, yep, that's it. Insert. And now on my web page, I have inserted this specific tweet from my Twitter. Okay, so here I know that it's cut off at the bottom because it should say see more tweets. There we go. So I'm going to extend that just a little bit. So now you can see that I've got the tweet. And then when it goes live, this hyperlink here that says see Miss Wesley Hosier's other tweets, I'll be able to click on that. So that's how you embed something. You can embed any URL or anything with an embed code. So Google Docs have an embed code, Google Slides have an embed code, videos have an embed code, Twitter does, you can do a LinkedIn, you can do pretty much anything that will give you an embed code. And then the last option up here for insert is going to be something from my Drive. So it's just your Drive symbol, and you can embed anything from your Google Drive onto your Google site. Just make sure your sharing permissions are set before you do so. Otherwise, when they open your site, it'll say you need permission to open this. So you want to make sure everything is good to go. So I'm going to just scroll down and find, here we go. Here's my credentials for my tall tweet. It's a slideshow. I'm going to insert it in. And now my slideshow is going to come up in its own little window from Google Drive. Now, because I'm still in the draft mode, I can't click through the slides. I can't click through anything. If I double click, it'll give me some options. So I do want it to auto start, and I want it to loop, because this is actually something I turned into a GIF. And I want the delay time to be 3 seconds, and I want it to start on slide 1. So I'm going to hit done. Okay, so now it's saved all my options. But again, I can't click through or move the slide, but it's going to show me what it'll look like on the web page. So any slideshow that you pick, anything from your Google Drive can go there. So that's how you would get to those 4 icons. The other way to do that is just to double click in an empty space, and it's going to bring up the options for you as well. So there's my text box, my Drive, the embed, images, or I can upload something quickly from that menu. So then it's going to bring up everything from my computer that I want to put in there. Okay. The next thing you can look at is layouts. So let's say I've got this blank section here, and I don't know what to do with it, but I know that I don't necessarily want it to look the way it looks currently. So I'm going to pick a layout with a picture and a text box already done for me. So then if I click the plus sign, it gives me a couple of different options. I can embed a map, a calendar, or any YouTube video. I can go back to my Drive. I can select an image, or I can upload something directly. And then these text boxes are already finished for me with the header and the normal text. And then I can also make that collapsible. So that means that if I click this up down arrow, that bit of text will either disappear or reappear. Okay, so I'm going to put this one in pink, the section background, just so when we preview it, we can tell the difference between what's a layout and what I've added. Okay, so see this arrow now, if I click it, see how the text was gone, and then it'll come back. Okay, so here are the other options you can do. You can embed or put in more collapsible text, a table of contents. So if I click on that, it's just going to look like this. So if you've got a lot of information on a page, I can just have it hyperlinked so that if they click on the heading of thing 1, it will take them right there. So let's say all the way at the bottom, I have a heading of thing 2. So I'll add another text box and kind of show you guys what that will do. Heading, even though that says hurting, which isn't really a word, heading of thing 2. Okay, so now in my table of contents, which I'm going to update, do it. Heading of thing 2 will be there as well if I make it its own heading. So you just have to remember as you're putting things in, if you want them on your table of contents, that you make it a heading or a title, and then add it to your table of contents for ease of use on your website. So there's heading of thing 1, heading of thing 2. So when you click on that, when it's live, it'll take you straight to that section instead of having to scroll. I can add an image carousel. So you've got to have at least 2 images. So I'm going to go to Google and select, we're going to do more flowers. And let's see if I can select some other ones. Okay, so we'll do this field. We'll do whatever those are. I don't know all my flowers, but I do know the ones that I like. Sure, that one's pretty. That one's cool looking. Okay, so then when I insert, here are the images that it's loading. And then once I go through this carousel and this button turns blue, I'm going to click Insert. Okay, so now you can see these images and these 3 dots down here. Let me know that there's more pictures there. So on the website, you'll be able to scroll through the pictures in the carousel. A button is going to be something that's hyperlinked. So if I put link to other webinars, and then I put in the digital learning website. Now, as I start typing, it's going to ask me if I want to go to something else. So digital learning. Now, you don't just have to hyperlink it to other websites. You can also make it a Google Doc, or you saw a PDF came up. I can pretty much put in whatever I want. So I'm going to put in this PDF, okay, and then I'm going to click Insert. So now when this is live, if I click on this button, it will take me to that PDF. And then you do have button options. You can make it filled. You can just outline it, or you can just include the text. So I always like to make it either filled or outlined, depending on the color I make the background, so people realize there's a button there. You can insert a divider. So this is, you know, if you're trying to differentiate between one section and the other, and it's literally just going to be a line, and there's no editing on that. You just put it or move it wherever you want. Okay, and moving things is literally that easy. I just grabbed it, and then I can move it once I get my little 4 crossbars there. And let's say I want to put it between thing 1 and thing 2. So there's my divider line. You can do a cloud search. They can search the content of your organization. So I basically included a search bar on the website. You can embed videos directly from YouTube. So I can search for a video. So I know that science uses the Amoeba Sisters a lot. Amoeba Sisters. So if I wanted to include one on mitosis, I would just put that in. And now the video is there. So they don't have to go to YouTube to watch it. They can click the play button directly on the website. So if I wanted to put, you know, a text box over here and say, hey, check out this video, it's already done, and they don't have to click anywhere else. So if you're building one for class or for review, your students wouldn't have to leave Google Sites. They could just stay there. You can embed a calendar. So if you've got maybe a homework calendar that you've set up for your students, or if this is your personal page like mine, I put my appointment calendar in there so that the staff members could see where I was and what I was doing. You can embed a Google Map, and then any of the Google Suite tools that you wanted to put in. So if I wanted to put in a Google form, and I'm just going to pick one so you can see what it looks like when it's live, we'll show you how to do that. So here's a recent form, is my feedback form. So I'm just going to click Insert. Okay, so now the form is there, and you can answer the form directly on the website without having to go anywhere else in the G Suite. So it's very similar to the YouTube. They don't have to click anywhere else to watch the video, and it's not going to take them to another site. They can fill out the Google form directly on this site. I'm trying to shrink this box. I don't know why it gave me like such a long thing. Oh no. Okay. But it's fine. So there's that. So that's pretty much all of the insert and themes. So now let's say I've got my stuff done for this page, right? And this is my home page, but I want to add another page. So I'm going to click on pages. And right now all I can see is my home page. If I click on this plus sign, now I can do, I'm going to do page 2. And if I click done, there's my page. So let me uncapitalize that A so it doesn't look funny. Okay, so now you can see I've got my page 2 up here in my navigation. So I can go back to my home page or I can stay with page 2. And in order to have it redo the name up there in the bar, I have to fix it over here. Okay, so now with this page, I can do a couple of different things. I can make this my home page. I can duplicate it. I can add a sub page. I can hide it completely from the navigation so nobody sees it. So if it's something I'm still working on and it's a work in progress, it doesn't have to be there for people to see. So if I click hide from navigation, now I can just go to my home page, and then page 2 isn't even up in the little bar anymore, the navigation bar. Nobody can see it. Okay, but I'm going to add it back so we can see what it looks like when we change the navigation bar from the side back to the top. So then show in navigation. So if you're done working on it, you just click show, and then there it is. So let's say I want to add another page, and I'm going to name this page 3. Let's look at, I did it again. Let's look at our advanced options. So I can have a custom path, meaning it goes from one page to the other. I'm going to leave it alone, and I'm going to hit done. And then I'm going to click and add a sub page. So this isn't going to show up in the same navigation pane as the rest of these. It's going to be directly under page 3. So then I'm going to do sub page 1. So now you can see the difference. Here are my like kind of big pages, and then there's my sub page 1. So home and page 2 don't have anything next to them, but page 3 is going to have a little sub page arrow that I can click down on if I want to go to that. Okay. Okay, so that's pages. And then if you want to rearrange your pages, so let's say I decide that I don't want page 2 here. I want page 2 behind page 3. I don't have to delete or move anything. I can literally just drag it wherever I want it. And then when I let go of it, which like I said, my mouse is not being friendly today, it'll change what I want to do. So you can see when I'm moving things, this blue line kind of appears, and I can decide where I want to put things and what order I want them in. And then if I have a sub page and I think, oh man, I didn't want to put that there and I didn't want it to be a sub page, I can drag it to the left, and it now becomes, instead of a sub page, it will become a navigational page just like the other ones. I'm on my trackpad and it's not working. Okay. So I'll put it up here in between 1 and 2. Okay, so now it's a regular page and it's no longer part of subpage 3. Right, so that's all of the menus over there on the left-hand side. Looking across the top, you have undo, redo. This is the preview, which I'm going to go to in a second. You can add collaborators by clicking on this plus and person, just like you would on a Google form or anything else in the Google Suite for that matter. So once it loads, I'm going to add Gina to this, and it's literally just that easy. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to type in Gigi King, and then it pulls up Gina. I'm going to give her editing rights. Okay, and then I'm going to send. So now I can see that I'm the owner, she has editing rights, and I've shared it with everyone that I want to. Then there's the settings wheel. So the settings wheel actually has a lot of new things. You can change the navigation from the top to the left-hand side. So see how all my stuff went away from the top and now it's over here on the left. So if I click on these 3 lines, then my menu opens on the left. And then I can click them that way. Okay. So that's the difference between left and top. So I'm going to go back to my settings menu. And I can also change the color. I can make it transparent, so that it doesn't show up at all. I can make it white or I can make it black. And depending on your color scheme, you may want it to be different. So I'm going to make it black, and I'm going to leave my navigation over on the left-hand side. And then for search settings, I can make it completely hidden. So this little search bar up at the top, this little icon, I can have it so that they can search my site specifically. They can search organizational content, or I can hide that search bar. So I'm going to hide it because I don't want them to be able to search for anything. So that's navigation. If I go to brand images, you can upload a favicon or a logo. So what that means is when they open their web page, across the address bar, there will be a little picture of whatever you set there. And I'll show you one that has one. Here's the viewer tools. So this is going to show them, you know, the last time I updated it, which I do want them to know, so that they're seeing the most recent version of the site. I want them to be able to contact me, and then anchor links appear when they hover over headings, which I want them to do as well. Analytics. If you have enabled Google Analytics, it will show you the traffic on your website, which is actually really neat. Gina and I have enabled analytics on our help website to see, you know, when people are accessing it, what they're accessing most, that kind of stuff. And it gives you a lot of valuable information. So if you have a Google Analytics account, you would just toggle the enable analytics after you enter your ID, and then you have access to all of that information. And then the last thing is the announcement banner. And this is brand new. They debuted it like last week. So I do want to show the banner, and I want the banner, you can put it in any color, but I want to draw people's attention to it. So I'm going to make it red. And then I'm going to type in my message, and I'm going to say, hey, stop. Reload. Okay. This is why I love technology. Even the people that do it all the time, it still doesn't always behave for. So we're going to let it redo its thing, I guess. So on my announcement banner, you could type in any announcement you wanted. So if this is a class page, you could type in that you wanted, hey, there's an upcoming quiz, or remember your test next week, or, you know, last day to accept assignments is May 18th. And then I could add a button, like a link to somewhere if I wanted, and then I could have that button open in a new tab. Then it gives you the option if you want it visible on only the home page or on all pages. I'm going to leave it on all pages because if it's important and I am making this announcement, I want people to see. Now you see it put this big red banner up of my webpage. It has exactly what I typed in. And if it was hyperlinked, I could click on it and it would do that. Okay, so that's pretty much how you edit everything on the page. So let's say I want to see what it looks like. I'm going to click the preview button. And now I can see exactly what my users would see. And it gives you the option to look at it on a computer or laptop, on a tablet. So this is what they would see if they were using it on an iPad or a Kindle or something, or on a phone. Now, on the tablet and the phone, even though I have my navigation pane on the side, notice when it's on the computer screen, it stays over there on the left. But because it takes up so much room, when I switch to the phone, it kind of pops in and out. So I'm going to go back to the home page, and then I'm going to put it on the large screen so we can see what everything looks like. Okay, so I've got my banner up at the top. I've got my navigation down the left-hand side. And here's my table of contents. So I'm going to click on heading of thing 2. Clicking links is not available in preview mode. But in the real world, it would take you there. Yes, Gina, I can't explain favicon. Give me just a second. So I'm going to scroll down and show you guys everything we did. So there's my heading. And notice nothing here is clickable. Okay. Here's my hyacinth. And it takes me to a new tab. So I clicked on it, and it's going to take me to the meet so that we can see what's happening. And it's saying it's being recorded. So we know all of that, and then I can join if I wanted to, but I don't want to. So I'm going to exit this, and I'm going to go back to my page. Okay. So if I click on the hyacinth, you see the little hand when I hover over it, that lets me know it's clickable. Here's my GIF that's going through. And now I have the options to go to specific slides, which I didn't in the preview mode. So it's going to do that.
You're not showing your screen anymore.
Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Oh, I see, because I clicked out of what I was presenting and then it didn't. All right, let's do Chrome tab, webinar example, share. Okay. Is that better? Yes. Okay. So I can scroll down to the slides here. Now I have it set to auto loop, but if I wanted to go to a specific slide, I can. And then it's going to continue to loop. However, okay, here's the layout that we picked with the collapsible text. So it's either collapsing or uncollapsing. And then here is the image carousel. So see how it brings up those navigation arrows. So I can click through the pictures. Here's my search bar. So I could type in and search. Here's my link. If I click that, it'll take me out. Here's my YouTube video. Okay, it plays right within the site. So I know if my students are on my site, they don't have to go anywhere else. And then here's my form. And I can click directly in my form and it'll take me to whatever form you have. And it's embedded. And I didn't ever have to leave. So that's the preview of everything. Okay, so I'm going to leave that. Leave, thank you. Okay, so that's exactly how easy it is. It really is simple. It is just like any other Google document or any other Google tool that you've worked with. You add things, you can delete things very easily. So let's say, you know what, I decided I don't like the navigation thing over there on the side because it's distracting. I'm going to put it back on the top and I'm going to make it transparent again. So now it, you know, I want to draw attention to this banner. So that's it. That's all you have to do. So Gina said, or asked if we could. Yeah, go ahead.
Right where you were on the navigation panel.
This
panel.
Uh-huh.
The navigation panel where it showed all your stuff. Move it, Moose. Mine doesn't show. So like mine doesn't show search settings hide. But on the left side, it has everything to view toolbars, and then it has custom URLs. So it has everything there plus custom URLs. But on the right side, mine doesn't have the hide anything. Under the
so are you under the GISD account?
Oh, no.
Okay. So because we have a special GISD account, we get things that other people might not have. And we also get things in different orders. So Google made an announcement about the announcement banner 2 weeks ago. Okay. And I was looking for it crazy and I couldn't find it. And then last week it popped up for us. So as new things are being rolled out, we don't always get them right away. And like I said, because we have an educational account, ours is different than your personal account. But the functionality of the web page is still going to be the same. Okay, so let me go to my drive so I can find the other websites that we've done, and I can show you what a favicon is. So I'm going to go, actually, for webinar example, I'm just going to click back on the little sites icon for sites home, and it's going to take me back to that home page where all of my websites are. I'm going to make sure that I open up anything that's owned by anyone so I can search for the one Gina and I collaborated on. So even though there's multiple collaborators, there's still only one owner. So Gina is the owner of the site and I can contribute to the site, but I don't outright own the site. So I'm going to type in flipped once my search comes up. Okay, so here's the flipped lesson resources one that Gina and I have built. And then I can show you kind of the brand and how that changes things and the favicon. Oh, internet. Sometimes you're so slow. Okay, so you can see here's this little logo. Okay, so here's my logo, and it's put in there. And then here's my favicon. So the logo is going to be on the website, and then the favicon is going to be in the search bar when other people go to the website. So if I publish it or look at the published version, it's not going to bring it up because I'm in edit mode, but here's the logo there. And it's just a picture of me and Gina. Okay. And you can see we've added, you know, all of our navigation stuff across the top. I've done the announcement banner because we have so much on there. It has the menu down the side as well when you click on the caret. And then here's all of the stuff that we've added. So if I get out of edit mode and go to publish, because that's the final step. Once you've completed everything and you're ready to go, you're going to hit publish. Now, I haven't made any changes to this, but normally it brings up review, changes, and publish. So it's going to show you what it looks like in draft mode, and then it's going to show you what the current published one looks like. So you can see it was yellow. I changed it to peach. Okay, so then I can change the settings here as well. Here's the web address. Sign me up. So I'm going to copy that and show you guys what the favicon looks like, if my copy would work. Dude, I'm having a lot of trouble with this trackpad today. Okay. And then I do want to review the changes. So I'm going to leave it like that. And then I'm going to click publish. So now it's publishing. It's making the change that the banner is now peach instead of yellow, just because I thought the peach was a little more eye appealing. Okay, so then if I go to a new tab, and I open it completely, and then type in HTTPS, sign me up. Okay. So in my bar, for some people, there's a little icon. Now, it's still not going to give me the icon because I have editing rights. But if you go, you should see this little sign me up icon up here as well. That's all it is. So that is pretty much Google Sites from start to finish. Do you have any questions about anything?
So Alice might want to get on and ask her question because I didn't quite understand it. That's why I was holding it to the end. She asked, how do we sign up? Go to Google certification training site and then to site to take the test for certification 1. So I'm not quite sure about that question. And then Amy asked for the URL. And I'm going to put that in the chat for her and for anybody else who wants it.
I want to know,
Okay.
because I'm going to need a lot of help to get the Google certification 1. Where specifically can I go to get training on things that I need to know to take that test? And, you know, what's the link and everything?
Well, Alice, I've sent a s'more several times on email, and it's on your end of year checklist. Sharita put the link for the s'more, and it walks you through. It gives you the link to Google Fundamentals training. It gives you the link for the task bingo that Lashaka and I have put together. And I believe there's a link on there where you go to do your voucher and purchase the test. So your first step is going to go and Google. So just Google level 1 certification test. And when that website pops up, there's going to be a blue button that says get training. And that's where you're going to want to start and go through the Google fundamental training modules.
Yes. Great question. They have a lot of really awesome resources there. Gina and I both just took our Google Trainer test, and we had to do the Google training classes on the same website. So there's a lot of really great information there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, this is Mark. I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm very interested in wanting to talk about the student portfolio part.
Okay.
Are we about to do that, or is that?
I can show you what that'll look like in the templates. So if I go back to the Google Sites homepage and I go up to the very top in the template gallery. Now your students have access to this page just like you do. So they would just click on their waffle over here, find sites, and then it would take them to the same page. So you would just click on student portfolio. Take me there. Okay, it's thinking. Student portfolio. Okay. And then once it loads, the students will have the same option to build their sites similar to what I did. This is just because it's a template, it's already going to have some layouts done for them. So it makes it a little easier for the students because it's giving them kind of built-in directions without you having to type all of the directions. Okay, so see how it says names, learning journey? It's a lot easier for the student to go in and drop stuff because it's giving them hints. So tell your site viewers more about yourself. What grade are you in? Where do you go to school? And then all of the stuff for the students is kind of laid out. So then it tells you, here's your email address, here's your strengths, your skills, everything that you're working on. And then if we click on the navigation, I can see their classes. So here's their school year, and then all of the information about that. Let me scroll down a little bit. Highlights, so it gives them places to put pictures or documents, any of their work that they're trying to showcase. Let me go to this panel. So see, classes has 2 subpages. So this particular one has one for math and one for art. So then here's the math image header, and then you can talk about, here's their geometry, here's a topic, describe why it's important. And then here's one for art, and it's going to be similar. It has a different header, but it has projects that they've worked on. And so this enables the students to be able to personalize this with all of their information without having to make it completely from scratch. And it's not going to be nearly as difficult for them because they kind of have a template. So you see the activities, and these are robotics, band, gives you everything that they're doing. And then I'm going to imagine that they're also probably hyperlinked. So if I go to the preview, I can see the name, the classes, and then the students could, you know, if they wanted to click on maybe band performances that they've been in. I know you teach drama, so if they've got recordings of their performances or sets that they've built or whatever that they've want to include in their portfolio, then they can put in this description and they can have people click out to do whatever. And then they've added a footer that appears on every page that says get in touch at, and then it prompts the students to put in their email address. So, and then their name is the title, and it takes them back to this homepage. So this kind of template is a great one for students because it really just lays everything out for them, and they don't have to ask, well, where should I put this or what should I do? You literally just fill in your information, and it's got all of the spacing and design set. So there's a text box here, but it wasn't filled in. So there's kind of a division between this pale blue box and then their achievements down here at the bottom. Does that make sense?
Yes, I love the idea of using the student portfolio. Can you talk about how it would link to Google Classroom and assignments?
We'll only do that if the students set it up that way. So if they go to, are you talking on the student end or your end?
Either way.
Okay, so if the students go to math, for instance, and they've got here, you know, describe what you've learned and why it's important, well, then they could link to with their URL address by adding a hyperlink to this text. So if I click in here and I click link, then I could, geometry, there we go. I could link to a specific Google Classroom assignment or my Google Classroom homepage or whatever here, just click apply. On your end, the students would need to give you viewing rights. So you need to teach them where it says share with others. If you're trying to edit edit with them or make comments, you would need to edit. Or when they publish it, they just need to make sure that they share the published link with you. So here's the publish. So you would just do this and then click publish, and then they would email that to you. So if you wanted to set up an assignment, to create your homepage here and tell the students, I want you to put a picture of yourself in the header and then update your About Me section. You would put that into Google Classroom as the assignment, and then the students, when they go to turn it in, would just submit the URL to their web page, and then you would go into the web page for each student and verify that they have a picture of themselves and that they've done whatever portion of the web page you've asked them to do. So if you start at the very beginning of the year and you say, okay, in August, we're going to do all about me. In September, we're going to do strengths and goals. And you go through all of that. By the end of the year, they should have their page built completely.
Mine is very much project oriented, so it becomes a place for them to document their journey in their project as they either build a costume or a set piece. And it allows them to then have a college portfolio as they get toward the end. So it becomes a very important piece.
Right. And they could even do updates on projects. So if they're doing, weekly updates or trying to show growth over time, they can take those still images, put them into a Google Slides presentation or a video in WeVideo or something else, add some music, and then you can see kind of the transition between what it started and then their finished product.
Right. That's cool.
All right. Now I did have a question about, you're welcome, a calendar. So I'm going to show you guys my page that I shared with my staff members, because I do have a calendar embedded on here. And it'll ask you when you click on embed calendar, which one of the Google calendars you want it to show. So I just picked the calendar that I wanted, and then I'll show you guys what it looks like published and then how you can make changes to it. So let's go to preview. So you can see I changed my header to purple, and I've got my certifications in there. There's my little Bitmoji. So if I scroll down, here's my contact details. Here's my whole Twitter feed that's embedded. So every tweet I ever send out is there. And then here's my calendar. So you can see all of my upcoming appointments. And this is my agenda. But if I wanted to look at it in month view, or I can see my weekly view. So what people coming to the webpage would see. And then if they go to this link that says book an appointment with me, now I have my appointments turned off because we're not in school. That's why it says there are no appointment slots, but it would take them directly